Well, let's get to the actual trial itself of former President Trump back in the courtroom. And, the story we had covered earlier was just crazy throughout the day. Laura Ingalls been on top of it. This guy sets himself on fire right outside the courthouse. But the timing of that, right as it was happening, we were ready to break news from the trial that the full jury had been selected. They were swearing in the jury. Opening statements would begin as soon as Monday. That was the news. Then that breaks. So let's talk about the trial itself. Attorney Michelle Thomas is our guest. Boy, been a crazy day. It's almost hard to focus. I mean, we couldn't even begin to describe what we were looking at down there outside the courthouse. But if you look at our telestrator here, there's a jury, and we were checking them off throughout the last few days, and it all happened very quickly, especially over here on on this side of the ledger with the alternates. That's where the blue seats are. On this side, you have the alternate jurors being picked. Can they be fair, Michelle? That's been, you have a jury now. That's the bill's basic question. Can a fair jury be formed for a Donald Trump trial in New York City?
Good afternoon, Connell, and thanks for having me. That is the magic question, is can they be fair? The court and both sides have asked a number of questions through the jury questionnaire and also through the voir dire process to inquire about these jurors' beliefs, whether they have specific views about the defendant, political views, political affiliations. And so the final result is that they have selected a jury who has represented they can be fair and impartial and judge this defendant on the facts. And that's what we'll see, and that's what we'll expect from the jury.
So the prosecution has to convince all 12 of those jurors that this man, the former president, is guilty. 34 counts of falsifying records. This underlying crime that he was doing it in some way to affect the outcome of an election makes it a felony. If you're prosecuting this case, what's the key to your argument?
Yeah, so the defendant here, the former president, has been charged with 34 counts of falsifying business records to cover this hush money payment that his fixer, Michael Cohen, paid $130,000 to Stormy Daniels in order to prevent the public from learning about their relationship. So the state needs to show that Donald Trump directed that payment specifically for that purpose, that he was aware that Michael Cohen had made the payment to Stormy Daniels, that they made the payment with the intention of trying to, prevent her from making any kind of public representations, and that they then fudged or misrepresented their books, their financial records, in order to cover that up. That's where the felony is, and that's what the state has to focus on, is the business records and the falsification of those records. And that he knew about it.
That he knew about it. I want to use a piece in the New York Times to kind of make the larger point. They had this piece earlier where they had a bunch of people come in and argue whether this would be a winnable case or not. A very winnable case was the argument from these three writers. And the quote here is, for years, legal pundits have been arguing it's hard to prove Trump's intent because he's so erratic and says so many contradictory things. How can you draw inferences? But I do not think, the quote says, a jury processes it that way. How do you think a jury will process who they're dealing with? It's not like they don't know Donald Trump. They may be able to judge him fairly, or they say but they know who he is. They know, at least part of his history. How will they process this case?
Trial lawyers often tell jurors, do not check your common sense at the door. And so they're going to tell jurors to think about the timing of the payment, that it was just days before the campaign, the election in 2016. And, to make it make sense, why else would Donald J. Trump be paying Michael Cohen $130,000 after he paid that to Stormy Daniels, a woman who's went public about an alleged relationship with him? And so it doesn't add up to say that this had nothing at all to do with the election when you were talking about this occurring days before the actual election.
And the last point, which I actually think is really interesting, because we've done so many interviews about this case beforehand, and many lawyers, I don't know what your personal view is on it, but many lawyers said this is the weakest of the quote-unquote Trump cases, or maybe it shouldn't have been brought. It doesn't compare to January 6th and all of that. But my question for you is, does any of that matter now? In other words, the case is going to trial on Monday, so any of those reasons wouldn't necessarily work into the outcome, would they, or would they?
They wouldn't. What matters now is the evidence that's presented to these 12 jurors and the outcome that they reach, whether they reach a unanimous decision or if they have one holdout, which then means that they're going to have a hung jury. I don't see there being a complete acquittal here based on what we know so far, but it doesn't matter the back and forth about whether to bring charges. Charges have been brought. He is the defendant in the system, and the verdict is what matters.
Yep. Thanks so much for watching. Just go to joinnn.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.